We about to break down Fleming Street.
You know, regardless of all the bullshit, still made me who I am. Yeah. How do I fix my mouth to say I'm sorry and all we saw were the flashing lights, the tire marks and the body parts by the traffic lights?
How do I fix my mouth to say I'm sorry? And all we saw were the flashing lights, the tire marks and the body parts by the traffic lights. So basically, I'm describing the night when we found out that my little cousin got killed. So by the time I got there, he was already in the ambulance. They were taking him away. But I'm breaking down the way my friends described it to me. When they came in there, they saw him lying there. They saw the police taking him away. By the time I got there, I drove down, you know, because I lived about, you know, like 10 minutes away. I drove down to get there. I saw the ambulance. You know, all the police and stuff were there, and he was already, you know, gone. But I could still see the chalk outline in the and you know, little markings where they mark where all the bullet casing, the shells are. And it was something else, man.
We saw with the flashing lights, the tire marks and the body parts by the traffic lights. The sweat from his mother's brow, the sense of disbelief and all the grief that you suffer to lose your oldest child.
The sense of disbelief. So I'm thinking about his mom and what she must be feeling. Like these are all the things that's running through my mind at the time when all this is going on.
Sweat from his mother's brow, the sense of disbelief and all the grief that you suffer to lose your oldest child. The stone.
Like her first child, her oldest child, just got murdered. Like what could she be feeling at this time?
Walls and the phone calls of pity, the faux paws and the faux walls that fall on the city, the flocks of family to lose your oldest child, the stone walls and the phone calls of pity,
the stone walls and the phone calls of pity. Like people calling like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like I wonder like what that must feel like, you know, to have your child taken away from you, because he was only 21 years old. You know what I mean?
Child, the stone walls and the phone calls of pity, the faux paws and the faux walls that fall on the city, the flock of family members that send you their best regards, and the faith you can't escape yet it's got you questioning God. Like
the flocks of family members that send you their best regards, the faith you can't escape, but it's got you questioning God. Like you have this faith that you can't escape because you believe in it, but you can't help it. Like, why, God? Like, why did you do this? Why, you know what I mean? Like, I know she had to feel that, but she never showed it. She was so strong throughout this. She was always so strong.
On ourselves here, what do we represent for? How do we wipe the slate clear? What do we do to ensure the in-stores a bit more atonement or resentful? How do you look at the dudes in the face the bullets were probably meant for?
So basically, my cousin, he was killed, but he was not a street dude. He didn't do any street stuff. He wasn't no drug dealer. He wasn't no gang. He wasn't in none of that stuff. But he was in the area where I grew up at. It was like a war. It was like a turf war going between them and another area. So basically, dudes from the other area would come and just shoot anybody they caught slipping, and he just got caught up in that. So and then when we standing around and you see some of the real street niggas standing around, and we like, yo, like, you can't help but think like he wasn't even into the shit. Like, y'all the niggas that these dudes was looking for. Y'all, the bullets were meant for them. So it's kind of this weird feeling like, yo, like, you almost are kind of mad. It's like, damn, y'all brought this shit on the air. Like, you kind of want to blame them. It's crazy, man.
Clear, what do we do to ensure the in-stores a bit more atonement or resentful? How do you look at the dudes in the face the bullets were probably meant for? Mentors are useless, the police are spiteful. One less to stress about, they sentiments delightful. A pipe full of candy that comes.
Sentiments delightful, like the police, one less to stress about. Their sentiments delightful, like the police. Sometimes, like you be feeling like the police is like they happy, like, oh, it's one less nigga out on the street. You know what I mean? Like that's the feeling. That's the sentiment in the hood sometimes.
Niggas eat more than just me rapping. This really happened on Fleming Street.
More than just me rapping. This really happened.
I said it's more than just me rapping. This really happened on Fleming Street. It's where the killers meet. It's where the dealers be. More than niggas scrapping. They really clapping to fucking eat. And you ain't gotta listen. You ain't gotta know me. This is how it's been. How it's always gonna be. This is how it is.
Make sure you guys hit the link in the description. Make a donation so we can keep this thing going. Show some love. Cash App is I Am Lock. PayPal is in the description. Click the link. Show some love.
Forever gonna be, forever gonna be. How do you take advantage when you young and wild, running foul and careless? Fuck what they was yelling, rebelling against our parents. Moved away in high school, though I choose to wallow.
So basically, I said, now I'm taking this. I'm taking this song back to myself now. So let's listen.
How do you take advantage when you young and wild, running foul and careless? Fuck what they was yelling, rebelling against our parents.
So this is just me saying when I was young, you know, we running wild, we running around, you know, just careless, you know. Now I never got into too much trouble. I was, you know, like I said, I was grateful and I was lucky enough to have my parents watch over me. But that's, you know, when you're young, that's the mind state that you have.
Away in high school, though I choose to wallow.
So I moved away in high school because when I was in high school, I moved away. You know, we moved about like maybe like a 30-minute walk away. We moved up the hill. So, you know, my parents were doing well, but I still was connected. Like I didn't want to leave. Like these are all my friends I grew up with. So I was still walk down the hill and hang out in the hood when I was in high school because that's my friends. That's where I grew up at.
That I knew came to my school with a Rollo and said they start bailing against our parents. Moved away in high school, though I choose to wallow. Till a shy dude that I knew came to my school with a Rollo and said they started shooting instead of fighting. Started to heighten, right?
So basically, came to my school with a Rollo. A Rollo is a type of gun, and basically like I seen dudes that I knew that I grew up with was like, yo, like the shit is getting crazy down there. I'm like, damn, like when we was kids, it was like, wow, but you don't think of it that way. You just running around having fun, doing like little wild shit as a kid. But now it's like, nah, we don't fight no more. We bring pistols. I'm like, holy shit, you know?
Journal, external likeness of my father made it hard by school with a Rollo and said they started shooting instead of fighting. Started to heighten, writing it down in my mental journal, external likeness.
So I'm keeping track of all of this in my mental journal. You know what I mean? Because obviously I started writing about it years later.
My school with a Rollo and said they started shooting instead of fighting. Started to heighten,
writing it down in my mental journal, external likeness
of my father made it harder though the harshness.
So external likeness of my father, basically because my father is Iranian. So I'm growing up, I'm half black, half Iranian. But because I'm so fair-skinned, I used to get it hard sometimes because they'd be like, oh, who's this little mix? You know what I mean? They used to think, like I said in some of my rhymes, they used to think I was Mexican or something. They didn't know. So I used to get it kind of hard. I got picked on because of my fair skin or my, you know, I didn't look like everybody else, you know?
And said they started shooting instead of fighting. Started to heighten, writing it down in my mental journal, external likeness of my father made it harder though the harshness had me bothered. I was caught up, I was brought up never to follow. And how did you leave the place you love? How do you find your solace? How do you take advantage of living a life of carnage? Harness started hell and despair, yelling you seldom prepared, smelling the airs. How the hell is this fair? And
so basically, this is me saying like this is me going back and forth between the thoughts that I had when I left. It's like, I love my friends, I want to be down there, but at the same time, like, I can't be down there no more. I'm playing basketball now, I want to go to college. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are all the things, but I'm still connected to my friends, but I started growing out of that mentality because I just saw different things now. You know what I mean?
Still moving powdered rock, every hour cowards pop. That's the reason my city's known for liquor store. Smelling the airs, how the hell is this fair? And niggas still moving powdered rock, every hour cowards pop. That's the reason
niggas still moving powder rock, every hour cowards pop. So this is after I'm gone, like these type of things are still going on. You know what I'm saying? Still moving powder rock, every hour cowards pop. That's the reason.
In the airs, how the hell is this fair? And niggas still moving powder
rock, every hour cowards pop.
That's the reason my city's known for liquor stores and flower shops.
I never forget this older lady that I used to work with when I was working as a mentor in Richmond. She says, you know what, if you look, Richmond, look at all these flower shops. And I noticed, I was like, yeah, there's a lot of flower shops at that time. She's like, that's because so many people dying, we keeping the flower, we keeping the flower business. We making them rich because every week they got these every week they got these new funerals that they gotta make flowers for. The flower shops is coming up, and all you see is another dead body, another funeral, more flowers, more flowers, more flowers.
block where them little niggas and killers meet. More than just a fraction, this really happened on Fleming Street. I said it's more than
So this track is produced by Mike Topnoch. But then I took the track to my man, Mike Blankenship, and I was like, I want you to add some more keys on top of it. So that's when you start hearing Mike adding these keys.
It's me rapping, this really happened on Fleming Street. It's where the killers meet, it's where the killers be. More than niggas scrapping, they really clapping to fucking eat. You ain't gotta listen, you ain't gotta know me. This is how.
Then I had my man Brady Watt playing the bass because there was no bass line. But then I had my man Brady Watt add a real live bass line on there. So you can't really hear it through the video probably, but if you ever, if you listen to it in a car or in a system or in headphones, you can hear that bass line. It's so cold.
It's gonna be. This is how it is. It's forever gonna be. Forever gonna be.
That's my man Mike Blankenship.
Yeah.
So I had the song done. Shout out to Chris Edmondson showing love, man. Shout out to Chris Edmondson. But yeah, so this is my favorite verse, the last verse, because I had the song done, and I recorded this in New York. I had Brady, everybody do this in New York. But then when I got back home to the Bay, I was like, man, I want to add some more to it. And that's when I came up with this third verse, and we added all the piano. It's my favorite part.
And I overheard the screams from the front room, was listening by the hallway. And
So this is me talking about when we were younger, my mother arguing with my dad, like, yo, we need to get out of here. Like, you don't want your son to end up dead. Like, I can see things getting bad. And my dad was more like, things aren't that bad. We're saving money by living here. My mom was like, no, we need to get out.
determine where we would all stay. My mother wants to leave the hood, she said it's all to blame. My father wants to stay cause he's not accustomed to change. We need time to save and you always ready to spend. She said, what about your son? What if something happens to him, huh? Could you forgive yourself just knowing what was lacking? That's all she needed to say. The next day we started packing.
So basically my mom's saying, like, she's talking to my dad, like, what if something happens to your son? Can you deal with that guilt? Like, if we stay here? And that's all she had to say. My dad was like, all right, we got to get out of here. You know what I mean? And we started renting a house that was, that wasn't in the hood anymore.
Our sorrows, packing up a carload, packing up our yesterdays and looking towards tomorrow. And although I'm grown, it's...
Yo, right now, I need everybody to show Joel May. I need everybody to shout out Joel. Joel just showed so much love. I need everybody to show Joel some love in the comments. Everybody shout out Joel right now. Shout out Joe. He's a real one. So make sure you shout out Joe. Joe, Joel. Shout out to Joe right now, man. Make sure you guys shout out Joel May.
It still hurts and it shows. I can never turn my back. It's the only home that I know. So what's happening, little cuz? I'm still in deep shock. We came a long way from playing by that green box.
So basically, this is like the title. This is like the title track of the album, basically, because it's like we came a long way from playing on that green box. So this is me talking about, like, there used to be this green electrical box on the main strip in the hood, and that was where like all the older kids would hang out. So when we got older, we was like, yeah, we gonna hang out at the green box. But by the time I got older, my parents moved me out of there, and it was just like we used to sneak and try to hang out over there, but our parents didn't like it. And basically, I'm just saying, like, I'm talking to him up in heaven, like, we came a long way from playing by that green box. Shout out to Joel Jasso.
Still hurts and it shows. I can never turn my back. It's the only home that I know. So what's happening, little cuz? I'm still in deep shock. We came a long way from playing by that green box. The same spot where them older niggas and killers meet. You left us all, but your spirit is still on Fleming Street.
Whew. You left us all, but your spirit is still on Fleming Street.
It's where the killers meet. It's where the dealers be. More than niggas rapping. It's
Really happened on Fleming Street. Yo, man, one of my favorite songs on my album, on my project, The Green Box. You guys can stream that right now. It's on Spotify. It's called The Green Box. And yeah, man, I just wanted to come on here and show love to you guys, man. Thank you guys so much. We're going to keep on. If you guys want me to keep on coming on here, breaking down these songs, leave a fire emoji, show some love. Make sure you share the video. Eid Mubarak. Yeah, man. Somebody says, I used to be near Fleming. My family was on 49th and Cypress. That's what's up, man. How long does it usually take for you to make a song, considering you have 10-minute fire freestyle? It just all depends, man. Like, I don't, sometimes it's just like, comes fast. You know, sometimes it takes me days and weeks. Sometimes it takes me like a week just to think about a song. And then once I get my mind right, I start writing, you know what I mean? So it just all depends. Sometimes it takes, you know, I go back and change stuff, so. Locke, were you cool with Jacka? Yeah, man, I knew Jacka. You know, I knew Jacka since I first started rapping. We was cool with Jacka. He was Muslim, man. That was my Muslim brother. You know, I would always, you know, give him salam, say salam alaikum. His manager, PK, they're all Muslim. So, you know, him and Hustler, AP9, you know, I know all those guys, man. So rest in peace, Jacka.